Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, my students. Today, inshallah, we're going to study Unit 2, reading lesson, The Man at the Fountain, English word, okay? The Man at the Fountain, okay. Here, we can see a picture here, okay? There are a lot of people, and we can see animals, okay? Two horses and also birds, pigeons, okay, are flying over there. And also here this place is full of people, okay. And in the middle we can see a fountain, okay. Look here, there is a fountain. What does a fountain mean? A fountain is, as you see, it is an ornamental structure, okay, in a pool or lake, uh, from which one or more jets of water are pumped away. So this is a fountain, okay, and in the middle of the fountain there are two horses, as you see in the picture. And here are some people. Uh, they are tourists. They come here to take some photos and to have a nice time. Okay, now we are going to read this text. Flippy was standing by his cousin's newspaper stall when he noticed the thief. Flippy knew he was a thief because his picture was in the newspapers. In fact, his picture was in every one of the newspapers that his cousin was selling at this very moment. Okay, Flippy was here and he saw a thief. Okay, he noticed a thief here. Okay, and then how did he know he was a thief? He saw his picture in the newspaper. Okay, his cousin. A cousin means the child of your uncle or aunt is cousin. His cousin was selling newspaper here in this square, so he saw his picture and he knew that he was a thief. The square was bustling on this hot afternoon. Several stalls were selling cold drinks and snacks. People were sitting in the shade of trees around the edge. Cawing pigeons strutted hopefully around the benches. Okay, this is square. The square means that an open area at the meeting of two or more streets. This is called square. Square, look here, this is a street, another street. Some streets are met together. This place is called a square. Square, okay. The square was full of people, okay. You can see a lot of people here. And this hot afternoon, so it was very hot, so a lot of people want to drink cold water, cold drinks, and snacks. They were selling cold drinks and snacks, light meal, okay, to eat snacks, to take snacks. For example, between breakfast and lunch, you can take biscuits, chips, and this is snacks. People were sitting in the shade of the tree around the edge. Was very hot, so people were sitting under the trees or in the shade of the tree. Cawing pigeons strutted hopefully around the bench. Yes, if you look at the picture, oh yes, these are pigeons, okay? And cawing is the voice of pigeons, cawing, okay? Cawing pigeons strutted, okay, hopefully around the bench, okay? Time. Buses with dusty windows were cruising around the square. buses, okay, with dusty winds were cruising around the square. Yes, there were buses going around the square. They wove their way through the never-ending flow of traffic. Now and again one stopped under the trees. Its engine hummed noisily as the doors hissed open. One of the buses stopped under the tree, okay, and its engine hummed noisily, make a low sound and continuous sound as the doors hissed open. Blue-gray fumes rose into the air. Fumes, smoke, blue-gray smoke rose into the air, okay, the air. Their oily smell mixed with the scent of roses that drifted from the flower seller's stall. Yes, oily smell. This is a smell which comes out of the buses, mixed with the scent of roses. Here in this square, there were people selling roses, okay, and the smell of roses mixed with the smell of oil, which comes from the bus. Uh, Waiting passengers pushed their way onto the bus while others left it and hurried away across the square. People who were waiting for the bus getting into the bus quickly, and the others hurried away across the square. Nobody was taking any notes of the thief, but Flippy didn't stop watching him. All the time, Flippy watched the thief. Okay? He was difficult to recognize. It's not easy to recognize him, okay? To know him again. Why? Because he didn't look exactly like his pictures, because he was in disguise, okay? The thief has it changed his appearance, okay? It changed his face features, so it's not easy to recognize him. But Flippy knew it was him. Okay, it was him. This is the thief. The police were looking for this man all over the city, and now here he was just a few meters from the newspaper stand. Also, the police were looking for this thief. He wants to catch him. Okay. He was standing at the fountain in the middle of the square. Okay. The thief was standing here in the middle of the square at the fountain, around this fountain. Okay? He was almost hidden by a group of tourists with clicking cameras. He was hidden. He didn't want anyone to recognize him. So he was hidden. He was hidden, okay, by a group of tourists. Yes, tourists who come to this square to take some photos. He was hidden by a group of tourists. Travelers to the city always took photos of the fountain with its beautiful statues and cascades of tinkling water. Okay, tourists or travelers to the city come to this place to take some photos of its beautiful statues. Okay, and nice place here. It was made from white marble that glistened like architect's eyes. Okay, this fountain is this fountain was made from marble. Okay, uh, okay, it was made from marble like uh, with that glistened like architect eyes. Glistened, it means shining, shine. Okay, in the four corners were huge living fish. Okay, the corners of the fountain, huge and living fish. Water spurted from their gaping mouths and splashed into the pool. water coming out from the sides, corners of the fountain, and splash, okay, and splash into the pool. In the center of the pool, two powerful galloping horses were pulling a magnificent chariot that was driven by a warrior of ancient times. Okay, these are two horses in the middle of the fountain. It showed that in the past, people moved from one place to another by horses. Okay, look here. This is another picture. The thief was mingling with the tourists who were throwing seeds to the pigeons and photographing the elegant buildings around the square. The thief was mixing with, okay? He doesn't want anybody see him, so was he was mixing with the tourists, okay? What are the tourists doing? They were throwing seeds, feeding pigeons here, throwing seeds for pigeons, okay, and taking photographs, okay. Flippy thought about getting closer. He took a few steps forward, okay. Flippy decided to get closer to the thief. Hey, Flippy heard his cousin's voice. Aren't we going to the match? I'll finish here soon. Yes, his cousin told Flippy, why don't we go to the match? I will finish my work soon and we will go to the match. Flippy nodded and looked back at the man who was sliding a small camera from his bucket. Flippy nodded his head, moved his head, and looked back at the thief, at the man who was sliding a small camera from his pocket. Okay, he took several photos of the squares. Okay, while Flippy was watching, he realized that one building particularly interested the thief. Oh, Flippy noted that the thief was interested in one building, okay, in a building he was interested in. He looked at this building carefully, okay. It had 6 white columns at the front, columns at the front. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns in the front of this building. Okay, broad steps led up to the massive wooden doors, and a blue and gold flag was flying above the vast entrance. Okay, this is the door of the building. Okay, entrance. Okay, it is very wide. Okay, and these doors are made from wood. Okay, wooden doors. And if you look above, okay, over this building there was a flag. Okay, it was certainly a beautiful building and a good one to photograph. This building is very beautiful, and if you want to take a photo, all people want to take photos for this building. It is used to belong to a duke now. It was the city bank. Now this building is a city bank. This is the bank of the city. Felipe, mm, okay, Felipe frowned and stared harder at the man. Just then, the group of tourists hurried away toward their bus. Startled pigeons, pigeons took off in a cloud of gray. The thief was suddenly alone. Yes, uh, tourists started to move. They want to leave the square, and the bus came, and they hurried away to get into the bus. And now the thief was alone in the square, as if he felt Felipe's eyes on him. The man turned towards the fountain. He noticed that the thief noticed that Felipe was watching him. His eyes his eyes were on the thief, so he turned towards the fountain. An ice cream seller pushed his cart across the square and stopped in front of the fountain. Yes, there was an ice cream seller, someone who sells ice cream, and he pushed his cart, okay, across the square and stopped in front of the fountain. Felipe could no longer see the man. Now Felipe couldn't see the man. Okay. When the ice cream seller moved on, the man was gone. Oh, now the man was gone. He couldn't see him. Where? Where is the man going? He wants to go. He wants to catch him. Felipe frowned again. Perhaps he knew I was watching him, he thought. Okay, he began to think with himself. Oh, the thief noticed that I was watching him. Just then, Felipe spotted a movement among the trees at the edge of the square. The thief was darting towards the main street that led away from the square. It was that moment that Felipe decided to follow him. Uh, Here, Felipe saw the thief again, okay, and he decided to follow him, to follow the thief, okay. He decided not to leave him, not to leave him. He decided to follow the thief, okay, until he can catch him. Okay, this is our lesson today. I'd like to thank you so much for listening, for watching this video. Thank you so much. Goodbye, my students. Thank you. Goodbye.